Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Robert Baylor, Director of Communications at NUCA. Welcome to our latest Webinar Wednesday, sponsored by NUCA's sustaining partner, 811 Spotter. First, before we begin, some webinar housekeeping for attendees. Today's webinar will be recorded. It will be available on NUCA's YouTube channel that can be accessed via the front page of NUCA.com. All participants are muted upon entry. Phone participants can use *6 to mute and unmute themselves. Questions will be asked at the end of the presentation. To ask a question, you can submit a written question at any time using the chat feature, and I'll read them at the conclusion of our discussion. Now let's get started. Contractors carry the greatest risk when excavating, yet they often have the fewest tools to manage 811 tickets efficiently. On our last webinar of the year, we will talk about preventing damages before they happen, featuring Marc Krichman of NUCA's national partner, 811 Spotter. This webinar will share how simplifying 811 ticket processes helps contractors prevent damages before they happen, improve communication across the job site, and stay focused on safe, productive excavation. You will learn several practical ways to turn compliance into prevention and strengthen collaboration across the 811 ecosystem. Marc Krichman is Director of Product Marketing for 811 Spotter, part of Irth Solutions, the industry leader in damage prevention software. With more than 25 years in commercial construction technology, Marc helps contractors adapt practical innovations that make excavations safer, smarter, and more efficient. Marc, I'll turn the webinar over to you.
All right, thanks so much, Bob, and hello and welcome everyone. I'm going to stay on camera for the greeting. For those of you who I haven't met, Marc Krichman, 25 years in commercial construction technology. I'm not qualified to do any of the actual work. I'm a typical office guy that has just learned how to move the needle inside of commercial construction technologies. Commercial construction companies. All right, I'm going to flip the camera off so that we are not distracted, and then we will talk about how to prevent damages before they happen in simplifying 811 ticket management for contractors. All right, here is our roadmap for today. And for reference and planning purposes, I've got about 20 minutes of content prepared, but I'm happy to stay longer for questions and discussion. We'll start with a quick welcome and set the stage for why 811 matters so much to contractors. Then we'll walk through the real challenges contractors face after tickets are created. From there, I'll show you how simplifying the process can turn basic compliance into true damage prevention, including a look at how 811 Spotter works in the wild. We'll share a few real-world examples from contractors using 811 Spotter today, and then we'll open it up for questions and discussion. Now, before we jump in, I want to take a moment to thank NUCA. We've been involved with NUCA for several years now, and it continues to be one of the most valuable communities in the industry. The training, advocacy, and member support they provide genuinely strengthen the contractors who build and maintain our infrastructure today. We at Irth 811 Spotter are proud to be part of this organization and grateful for everything NUCA does for the industry. All right. Now, our focus today is simple. We're going to look at why 811 ticket management has become such a challenge for contractors and what good actually looks like when the process works the way it should. From there, I'll show how simplifying ticket management can turn basic compliance into real damage prevention and how 811 Spotter fits into that picture. My goal today is that you walk away with practical insights you can use immediately, whether you're managing a handful of tickets or thousands across multiple states. Now, to understand why this problem is so costly, we need to start with what you all are dealing with on the ground. Now, you all know about our national 811 system, where utilities are notified before any digging, so they can mark buried lines to prevent damage. What you probably don't know is when contractors use this 50-year-old system, it triggers a landslide of email, paper-based data, and all those paint markings you see on the street. And every one of those emails, pieces of paper, and paint must be tracked by you, the contractor. Why? Because when damage does occur, it's you that pays the most, whether in time, money, or in some cases with your lives. So it's critical that you track and verify this mix of paper and paint as best you can. Now, I think we can agree that contractors are good at moving dirt and getting work done, but juggling data, spreadsheets, and paperwork, that's not the job that anyone signed up for. Now, before we move on, I'd invite you all to think about how your company tracks this process. In fact, when we asked our friends in construction how they track their 811 tickets, this is what we got: paper, files, and Excel. Now it works until it doesn't. It's inefficient, it's error prone, and it's costly. The reality is the 811 system we all depend on is incredibly inefficient. Across the country, these breakdowns contribute to more than $76 billion in damage, waste, and societal costs every year. And those inefficiencies, they're largely baked into the system. Now, 811 is often described as a free service for contractors, but it actually isn't free. When you spread $76 billion across roughly 44 million tickets created each year, that's $1,700 of waste per ticket, almost $150 per ticket per month. That is the real cost of inefficiencies that we all live with. Now, utilities, they fund the system, but the excess costs are expected, budgeted for, and ultimately absorbed into the broader ecosystem with no real incentive to modernize or fix what's broken. Meanwhile, contractors, you carry the day-to-day consequences, the delays, the rework, the schedule risk, and the exposure to liability. You feel the impact immediately, long before it shows up in anyone's annual report. So while 811 is essential, it wasn't designed for the speed and complexity of modern construction. Contractors are being asked to operate inside a process that simply doesn't match how work actually gets done in the field today. And that gap between an outdated process and today's construction reality, that is what we're here to address. Now, before we talk about any tools or technology, it's important to level set on what good actually looks like for contractors managing 811 tickets. In a perfect world, every ticket and every response would live in one place, not buried in emails, PDFs, and phone calls. The office knows what's going on, the field knows what's going on, and nobody is guessing. Crews aren't worried about tickets expiring, and verifying responses takes seconds instead of slowing the work done. Most importantly, communication doesn't break down between the people planning the work and the people putting shovel to ground. When that happens, contractors spend less time on administration and more time moving dirt. And the risk of damage, well, it drops dramatically. That's the target state. That is the gap that we're solving for. So we built a system specifically designed for contractors to make this good state the default. 811 Spotter is an end-to-end ticket management platform purpose-built for contractors. Every feature is designed around how construction actually works in the field, in the office, and across fast-moving projects. Our purpose is simple: reduce the cost, the time, and the risk that contractors take on when working inside the 811 system. This is about giving contractors the visibility and control the system never provided. Now that we've looked at the challenges contractors face and what good should look like, let's talk about how 811 Spotter actually makes that possible. With 811 Spotter, contractors move from paper, files in Excel, to a fully automated map-based system. Everything is in one place, making the process easier to track, and field verification happens in seconds, so nothing ever gets missed. And tickets, they never slip through the cracks. Across our customers, we're seeing more than a 90% reduction in damage claims and thousands of dollars saved every month. One contractor reported over $200,000 in savings in just a single year. Now, we all know construction really comes down to two groups, the office and the field. The field is where the work happens, digging, verification, utility markings, taking photos, making calls. And the office, they depend on that information to plan, schedule, and keep projects moving. 811 Spotter is built with the field at its core. The app makes it fast and simple for the field to see their tickets, verify markings, capture photos, and update the office in real time without slowing the work down. And when the field has what they need, the whole operation runs smoother. Getting started with 811 Spotter, it is radically simple. We connect to a couple data sources, your email, your state one call center, your project management system if you have one. From there, it's 30 minutes with the office so they can see everything in one place, 30 minutes with the field so they know exactly how to view and verify their tickets, and most customers are fully up and running in one day. Let's see what that looks like. All right. Well, here is 811 Spotter running in Southern California. Contractor has 169 active tickets. We see all the tickets on a map, and we get a green, yellow, red display of what's going on with this ticket, with each ticket. Basically, green means I have all the information. Yellow means something is missing, and red means stop. Do not proceed. There is something that you need to take care of before you go to work. If I filter for one job, let's look at the Tesla Collision Center. Here we see 2 tickets on one job site. This is a light industrial area. If it were a little bit more downtown, I can spin around, get a good view of what's going on, spin back. And basically what I'm here to do is make sure that my crews are cleared to work. Now, if I'm working on the main job site here, I can see that that's green. If I'm working in the northwest corner, I see that that's red. So what do? Well, I click on it and I get some deeper information about what's going on. Basically, we're just following the dig safe processes. So number one, you got to make sure a ticket is good. Now, the ticket conditions are good. That means that this is a legal ticket. We're beyond the legal start date and before the expiration date. Now, this ticket is automatically being renewed, and in California, we can do that for the life of the excavation. So we're automatically renewing this ticket. So I'm good to go there. Next, I need to look at and verify all the utility responses. That's where I've got the red condition. So I look at the Utilities tab, and I can see all of the utilities that needed to respond to this ticket in one place. I scroll down, I see Southern California Gas, a gas service. They require a standby, and so I need to deal with that. Before I do, I want to show you we have millions of tickets in the system and millions and millions of utility responses. So what we're doing here is measuring the responsiveness of this utility in this specific area. They're a gas service. They get 4 out of 4 dots. That means that they have an extremely high likelihood of responding. If I scroll up a little bit, I see MCI. They get 1 out of 4 dots. That's, let's call that a C-. So what do? If I need to get a hold of MCI, I can click on the individual utility. If contacts come along with the ticket, we have that here. If not, I've got a crowdsourced contact database. What I can do is I can look for MCI. That pulls up any MCI locators that located for my company. I can see Mario located a ticket 11 miles away. This is in Southern California, as in LA. So 11 miles is like a different country. So that's probably not my guy. But what I can do is reach out to Mario and say, hey, Mario, who is locating in my area? I need to get a hold of him. What that allows contractors to do is get proactive if I need to hear from someone. All right, but MCI cleared me, so I don't need to do anything with them. What I need to do is resolve the Southern California gas response. So what I can do is get context on what has happened in the past. I've got the response history going back through the life of this ticket. I can see that we already acknowledged or we have done a standby with Southern California Gas. And so if I have newer information, I can document that here. So I can say site meeting completed, I can say standby acknowledged, or I can tell the team in the field, hey, do not proceed, we're not clear. So I can do that all from this interface. Once I'm done resolving the utilities, I move on to verifying any markings in the field. The way I do that is if a utility says that they marked, a little verification flag pops up. What happens is your folks in the field walk around, they look for the paint, and then they document that. When you document a photo in 811 Spotter, we do a couple of things. One is we will georeference that photo to wherever the person taking the photo was standing for your own protection. We'll also give you an opportunity to tag the individual utility so you know you're taking a picture of the right utility paint. And so here, this is a gas service, and so I should be good to go. That is what all those blue dots are. Those are photos that have been taken to document either white paint delineation or individual utility markings. Once I'm done with that, I'm generally good to go, and I can let the work proceed as needed. All right, let's get back to the presentation, which I have lost. So let me there it is. All right. Okay, so hey, look, real impact is happening across contractors using 811 Spotter. Let's look at a few examples of what that looks like today. That's companies saving time, cutting costs, and dramatically reducing risk. Some of these companies onboarded in just hours. Others eliminated missed renewals that used to shut jobs down. The proof isn't in the software. It's in contractors, or I should say it's in how contractors use it every day to keep projects moving safely and on schedule. So at MGE Underground, manual 811 ticket management was overwhelming. Thousands of tickets, constant emails, and spreadsheet chaos that even required several full-time people to keep up. After moving to 811 Spotter, the automated system now handles roughly 2,500 tickets per month, doing the work of 3 full-time people and freeing them up to focus on their job, not administration. In just 1 year, this shift yielded over $200,000 in operational savings while giving crews the visibility they need to work safely and keep projects moving. Another customer, Q&D Construction, they're a multi-state contractor. Their crews were spending way too much time digging through emails and spreadsheets just to verify ticket details and field conditions. After adopting 811 Spotter, they shortened that process to just a few seconds, giving supervisors the information they need when they needed it. Q&D has seen improved field communication and faster ticket resolution, helping keep projects on schedule and crews focused on productive work. Navajo Pipelines is a small contractor, handling only about 25 tickets a month. But the manual process was still creating confusion, lost time, and unnecessary risk. With 811 Spotter, they now have a clear, centralized view of every ticket, and crews in the field can instantly see what they need without digging through emails or making extra calls. Even at a small scale, the impact has been real. Fewer delays, better communication, and a smoother, safer workflow for the entire team. Now, we started today by looking at how much risk and efficiency contractors are carrying, or I should say inefficiency contractors are carrying in the 811 process. And we've seen how teams are solving those challenges every day. Every contractor's workflow is a little different. So this is a great time to dive into what matters most to you. If you'd like to talk one-on-one after the session, you can scan the QR code. It opens up an email that goes straight to me. Now, what questions can I answer? Or what challenges are you seeing with 811 tickets in your operations?
Thank you, Marc. For those who want to ask him a question, you can use the chat feature to submit a question, and I'll read the question to Marc. Or if you prefer, unmute yourself, state your name and company, and ask the question directly. Remember to remute yourself after you finish. Marc, we've got one question here. If 811 Spotter doesn't work in my state right now, what do I need to do to get you out here?
Yeah, thanks for that question. So 811 Spotter is live in 18 states, and we are expanding rapidly. What we need to get into a new state is simply tickets from a contractor. So if you're in a state that we don't support, and you can find the states that we do support on 811spotter.com, reach out to us and say, hey, listen, we need you in this state, and that will start the process for us. In other words, there's no reason for us to build out in a specific state where we don't have customers. We would rather go and solve the problems where our customers actually are.
Questions, people? Here's one. What does this look like for my crews in the field? How exactly does 811 Spotter change what they do day to day?
Yeah, thanks for that question. So I would say by and large, this information is printed out and tucked into job site folders that just sit in trucks. And so what this looks like as a practical matter is folks in the field have the app on their phones or iPads. We're an unlimited user model, and so you are free to add as many users to the system as possible. And what customers generally do, and I probably should have shown this, I think I'm still sharing here we go. What folks in the field generally do is they pull up the app, they hit this button, and by the way, the interface looks exactly the same on the app. It's just streamlined for an app experience. This tells them exactly where they're standing. So here I am in my office. And if I need to work on 24th Street or 22nd Avenue, stop. I don't have any legal tickets here. There is a problem. And so basically, your field crews have this information in their hands. Most people are in and out of the system in 30 or 45 seconds a day. And then they just get on past this and do their work.
A question from Roger. What is the cost of this program for a company?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Roger. We are a usage-based model that counts active tickets per month. And so the pricing is on 811spotter.com, but most of our customers pay a $200 a month platform fee and $2 per active ticket per month. And so to give you the easy math, if you're a company that's managing 50 tickets right now, that's $50 times 2 for 100 plus $200. So that's $300 a month for the system with an unlimited users. I see there's a question about unlimited photos as well. What we are interested in and what separates company A from company B, Joe fencing contractor from large multi-state contractor, is just simply the number of active tickets that they have.
We have a question from Paul. Are all of the photos captured from the locators?
Thanks for that question, Paul. The workflow is actually all on the contractor side. And so contractor creates a ticket. It in your state one call system that flows into 811 spotter within an hour. And then as utility responses come in, whether they are coming in through email or whether they're coming in through an electronic positive response system, you see that in 811 spotter. And then your crews are responsible for going out and taking the photos and verifying those field markings. If you get photos from a locator, you can drag those into the system. That's nice. But we are a system built for contractors. And so we go back to the contractor stakeholders corner. And so everything in the system is built for documentation and your protection. So to be a little bit more crisper, it's the contractors teams that go out and take photos of either the pre-work, the delineation paint, and any utility markings. If you have other information or documents, you're welcome to pull that into the system. That's fine.
Here's another question. Can 811 spotter tie into the tools we're already using, like our project management system?
Yeah, great question. So I like to say we play nicely in the sandbox. And so most of our customers have a combination, or I should say our customers generally have an HCSS heavy job. So we are on the HCSS marketplace. It's a one-click integration if you use heavy job. If you use Procore, we are working on an integration to that system as well.
Are there any other questions? We've got one last one here. If we decide to roll this out, how hard is it to train our guys and get everyone up and running?
Yeah, it's a really common question. And the bottom line is we're taking a highly administrative process that really no one wants to do. We have to do as contractors, and we're making it easy. And that extends into rolling it out to teams. So generally, it takes us about a day to get the system hooked up and to populate it with your tickets. And then I would say by and large, it's a 30-minute training session for the office, a 30-minute training session for the field, and then companies are off and running from there.
And with no other questions, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank Marc for his time today to present this information to our members. Today's webinar has been recorded. A recording of this webinar will be made available on NUCA's YouTube channel over the next few days. And thank you for your time today to join us for this Webinar Wednesday and for supporting NUCA. Thank you for your time this afternoon, and please enjoy the rest of your week. The webinar is now over. And Marc, if I can have you hang on.
You bet. Thanks so much, Bob, and thank you all for joining today. If there's one thing I hope you take away, it's that contractors deserve tools that match the responsibility they carry in the 811 process. You don't have to absorb all the risk and chase data across paper, emails, and spreadsheets. There's a better, simpler, and safer way. So if you want to continue this conversation or see how this could work for your team, reach out. I ask you all, are you safe to dig? And thanks again. And happy holidays to all of you, and stay safe out there.